what's up everybody? Landon here from Messenger Organizer. We've added a bunch of new bells and whistles, a bunch of new features to Messenger Organizer recently, and so I wanted to take just a few minutes today to record this new tutorial video and just walk through every aspect of Messenger Organizer. So if you're new to the software, or if you've been a user for a long time but need an update on the features, I want to go through all those really quickly. And then if you have more specific questions for me, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to support on our website, and we can certainly get you fixed up. So first things first, if you're new to the software, you want to make sure first that you've downloaded the extension. Now you should have received an email that gave you a link to where to download the extension. And then once you download it, what will happen, you can see all these extensions in my toolbar. Once you download it, it won't permanently show, or it won't be pinned here in the toolbar. So what you need to do is click this little puzzle icon and scroll down to the Messenger Organizer tab here. And you want to make sure this thumbtack is blue. So make sure it's blue. And when it is, that extension icon will pop up right here, which you can see here. Okay. So once you have that there, you're going to click on the icon, and then what you'll see is a login page, username and password. And again, you should have received that information in an email once you signed up. And you're going to log in, and then once you've logged in, you're going to actually go in here and create folders is really the first task that you want to do, so that you can begin adding conversations to tags or tagging conversations with specific names or titles. So for the sake of this, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this, and then you're going to type in the name, and then you're going to select the color, and then you hit add. So here I've created this test1 folder that you can see here. And we're going to use that, and I'm going to show you how that works as an example once I'm out of this pop-up. But real quick, just wanted to show you really quickly how to navigate through this. Excuse me, you're going to see your name up here. It's going to show you which package you signed up for when you signed up for Messenger Organizer. And then you can check or uncheck this. So if you wanted to make all these tags disappear inside of your Messenger just to clean it up if you weren't using it for a day or two or whatever, you could do that and make those things disappear. I always leave mine on. I think it doesn't really clutter my Messenger, and I'm on there all day, every day, messaging lots of people. So that is there if you want to clean it up for whatever reason. There's a CRM button, which we're going to go to. Here's an update password link, and then download leads data, so you can actually download the data, the tags and the folders and the info that you have as part of Messenger Organizer, so that you have a manual backup of that information if you ever needed it. Now we always sync to the cloud constantly with Messenger Organizer, so your data should always be safe in the cloud, but that's for a cautious backup, okay? So just in case anything bad happened. And then there's just sync lead data. So if you download Messenger Organizer on a new computer, or if you've got an assistant that's logging into your account, for example, and they're not seeing all the same information you are, tags, folders, etc., hit this sync lead data, and you'll see here, once you hit it, you see this little spiral here happen, and then it's going to take just a few seconds, and then it's going to make sure all your lead data is uploaded to Messenger Organizer, and then once that finishes, like it did there, you can go here and you can just hit refresh, and then you should have all the tags, all the folders, everything that's been in your account, even if you're doing it on a new computer, or if an assistant is doing it for you, etc. Okay? So that's first thing. Now let's go back to our extension icon, click on this. I told you that we created this test1 folder, right? So I'm always in messenger.com when I'm using Messenger in general, and especially when I'm using it with Messenger Organizer. I think that's the best place to go, your best functionality with Messenger. So go to messenger.com, make sure you're there, you're logged into your Facebook account, and now you've got all your conversations here, right? All the conversations that we have inside of our Messenger. And if you're using it for leads, sales, etc., we know how vital it is, how important it is to keep it organized, right? So what you'll see here is these little plus icons next to each conversation. If you click this plus icon, it's going to pop this box up, and it's going to allow you to tag or add that conversation to a primary folder or a primary tag, and an other folder or a secondary tag. Okay, so Hassan, who's a developer of Messenger Organizer, if I wanted to go and add him to that test1 folder, I could hit that. And if I wanted to change what secondary folders he's in, for example, I could do that. And if we've got 3 different items there, I could add notes specifically to about our conversation. I could set up a meeting notification or even a reminder where I say, hey, on this date at 11 a.m., I want to be reminded to reach out, and that'll happen in the form of a little desktop notification as long as your computer's pulled up, and that little desktop notification will say, hey, reminder, you're supposed to reach out to Hassan, or whatever it is, okay? So I can do that. I hit assign here, and you'll see here the folder's been assigned to the thread, and then that'll disappear, and then you can see here in real time that his folder has now been changed to test 1, okay? And then if I went back to my extension icon and I clicked on that, I could actually go down to test 1 folder, click on that, and you can see Hassan is the only lead inside of test 1 folder. And you'll also see the secondary tags that I've applied to Hassan as well. Now, if I wanted to remove him from a particular folder, I could hit this trash can icon, and it would actually remove Hassan completely from any tags or folders. Okay. You could hit this little blue envelope, and that would take you right to the conversation with Hassan, and I could message him directly inside of Messenger. And you can do this with any of your folders, right? So if I go back up here and I go into Ammo Customers, and I could scroll through all these, again, I could remove them, send a message directly to them, go directly to their conversation, etc. Okay, so that's kind of the basic navigation with folder creation and adding them to a folder. Now let's say you're brand new and you've got a bunch of different conversations that all need to be added into the same folder. So how do we bulk assign them? How do we add them all at the same time? Great question. This is how you do it. You see this little check boxes next to each of the conversations. So if you wanted to add all of the same, all like 10, 20, 50 conversations with the same folder, you just start to check the ones that you want to add. And you can see here, once I start checking, you'll see this little box pop up above here next to chats. You click on that, and then you're just going to select the folder that you want all those conversations to be added to. Okay, so that's this bulk assign feature. I'm not going to do that for the sake of keeping my inbox organized, but that's how you want to bulk assign if you want to do that. Also, if you wanted to search for a particular conversation, and let's say you're looking for somebody specifically, and I want to find Dan, who's a really good friend of mine, and I wanted to add him. You can see when you search, it doesn't show up here on the left-hand side when you search, right? So how do we add him? You click this Add Lead button next to his name, and then you'll see here that I can do the same thing. I can assign the same way without actually having to find his specific conversation in that scroll list. I can just search him and then click the Add Lead Data or Add Lead button next to his name, and that'll let me assign just like I would anybody else. Okay, so there's that. Now let me show you. I'm going to X out of this, and then let me show you real quick. If you click on the extension icon, and then we click this CRM button, you're going to see a new tab open. Now this new tab is really the hub, the place where you can utilize all the awesome features inside of Messenger Organizer. And so you want to become really familiar with what's inside of this tab, okay? So first things first, dashboard tab, which is what it'll take you to initially. You're going to see all of your conversations you've tagged or placed in folders. And you can see it's broken up into pages just so that it'll load faster. But if for whatever reason you wanted to see more leads inside of one page, you could change it to 50, 100, 150, or see all the leads at one time. It just does take some time to load if you have lots and lots of tagged conversations, okay? And if I want to see it specific by folder, because we get this question all the time with Messenger Organizer users, hey, I want to see all the conversations that I've placed in a particular folder, and they always want to see it inside of native Messenger. The reason we can't do that is that it slows down Messenger significantly. You won't even be able to operate and send messages the way you should because it slows it down. Because of the way that Messenger has been developed, there is constant updating and constant checking inside of Messenger's native development. And so when we add that to it, it makes it really stagnant and slow down a lot. And so the way we've got around that is being able to see that, segment those conversations by folder inside of our CRM page. So again, if I wanted to go down and see who's in the Hassan folder, for example, here we go, right? So we've got a couple in there. If I want to go down to my test 1 folder, Hassan's in there, right? You remember we just added Hassan to that folder. And so I can see all those right here by just segmenting which folder I want to look at. Now, some more navigation inside of the CRM page. If you wanted to send an auto message, you could hit this little button, but you have to create an auto message template first. So if I want to say, hi Hassan, and I'm going to save that as my auto message template, and then I could get in here and I could actually just click this blue airplane, paper airplane, and it's going to open up a new tab, and it's going to send that message to Hassan in that new tab. Okay, So that's what will happen. You'll see it'll populate in a second. Hi, Hassan. And then it'll send that. Boom, there it is. And so if for whatever reason you wanted to send a quick few messages like that, and you wanted to just create an auto message template, and you could just manually click through and do it that way. But I'll show you an even faster way with the automated message feature, how you can do that and send it to a lot of people all at one time. But we'll go through that. So if for whatever reason I was looking at all my conversations and I thought to myself, I want to push this to a Google Sheet, you could click this and then you just put the link of your Google Sheet here inside of the tab, and then you could push that to a sheet, and then that'll give you all the data, all the individual data from each conversation, person's name, Facebook profile, etc. And you could push that to an Excel sheet or a Google Sheet, excuse me, and that's useful for a lot of people if they want to upload those to their email marketing software, or if they want to use it to run Facebook ads and they want to do a lookalike audience, etc. And so that's a really nice way to be able to push all that lead data to a Google Sheet. Okay, so there's that. Let's go down here to our import tab. I'm going to click on this, and you'll see here that this tab allows you to, if you have an Excel sheet, a Google Sheet of Facebook leads, so let's say you've got Facebook names and profiles, etc., you could actually go here and upload those files and then import them into Messenger Organizer so that you could then go and tag them and manage them just like you do any of your other conversations. If you want to see a sample document, you can click that and it'll show you a little sample document which it'll download, and you can see that there. And again, you can export that, you can clear all, choose to tag all if you want to, etc. Okay, or you can do it for specific folders if you want to import them into a specific folder. So that's this import lead data. If you've got Facebook leads already from another place, another source, but you want to upload them and put them inside of Messenger Organizer, it's a really nice place to do that. And then here's our Friends tab. Our Friends tab allows you to sync all of your Facebook friends, and you can tag those Facebook friends even if you haven't had conversations with them inside of Messenger. So that's one thing that makes it really nice to be able to tag and organize them even if you haven't had a conversation with them. So again, the whole purpose of the Sync Facebook Friend feature is that literally all your friends in Facebook can be synced to Messenger Organizer, and then if you choose, you can tag them with specific tags and folders. Now we do have an update coming on this particular functionality that will allow you to see whether or not any of those friends have already been tagged, and that will be coming here in the near future. But for now, you can sync them, you can choose the folder that you want, and be able to do that. Okay, and then this you can export an individual list to that, individual list to a Google Sheet. You can do that, and then you can show how many you want to see, like I showed you before, and then you could choose to tag them all to a specific folder if you wanted to, or just go through it individually. And I won't sync the friends again because that does take a little time, especially if you've got a lot of Facebook friends, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so that's our Friends tab. In our Templates tab, this is where you can create message templates. Okay, and so you see here that I've already made a few message templates, and then the way you organize that is you can create template folders. So if I create 5 or 10 messages that are all about lead generation, then maybe you title your template folder lead generation, and then you've got your 5 or 10 messages inside of that specific folder. So it's going to allow you to manage and to organize those messages in a really appropriate way that makes it efficient for you to use. And then what happens is once we've created these templates, you can use these templates to schedule automated messages, but you can also use the templates to send canned responses. So if I go back here to messenger.com and you see our little extension icon here next to the conversation, I can actually click on this, and this is going to show me all of the message templates I've created. So if I wanted to auto-populate that one in there, and that's all I created it to say, it would put it in there. Now it's not going to send it automatically, but it'll put it in there so you don't have to keep copy and paste, or adding the same message because you're responding the same way to lots of people. So you could put it in there, and then you could hit enter, and then it would send that message to them, right? So that's this canned response feature. And again, you should be able to see that anywhere you can see a message with that person, that canned response feature that allow you to send it to them, okay? So that's how you create message templates, either for the canned response or to send as an automated message, which I'm going to show you next. So if you go to the Schedule tab, here's where we could actually schedule to send one of our message templates to somebody. So usually if you're brand new here, you're not going to see anything queued up here, and then you're going to hit this Create a New Campaign, you're going to give it a title, and it can be whatever you want, but for the sake of this example, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to send it to the Hassan folder, and then it's going to give you an example. And then again, if you want to use their specific name inside of Facebook, you're going to want to use this bracket like that, and then whatever message you're going to send. Okay, and so then you can pick the time and the date, etc. Now, the one thing to note with the automated messaging, it's automated to a certain degree. We don't want to act like a bot. Facebook doesn't love bots, and so we don't want to act like a bot. So what happens is when you schedule, if it's for tomorrow or for an hour from now, you do need to have your computer open and a browser pulled up, and preferably I would have Messenger pulled up on your computer. Now, you don't need to be sitting there monitoring it, because it'll send by itself, but if you want it to actually send when you've scheduled it, you do need to have the computer pulled up, browser open. I would say preferably have messenger.com open so that it can operate as efficiently as possible when you've scheduled that message to go out. But again, you don't have to be sitting there. As long as you've got your computer pulled up and it's not sleeping or turned off or whatever, it's on and active, it'll send that message out, and then it allows you to hit save. And then, for example, if you hit save here, it's going to say, hey, this thing's going to send out at 3:40, so here any second, and it's going to tell you the message. And then if you wanted to see who it's actually going to be sent to, you could hit the little eye icon, and it'll turn around and it'll show you which ones they're pending for. And then if you wanted to delete that, you could hit delete, and then it'll just completely remove that campaign altogether. Okay, so that's this messaging feature. And again, I'm going to show you one more time. If for whatever reason, so I'm just going to put hi. If for whatever reason you wanted to remove certain conversations, you didn't want some people to receive this automated message, you can simply go through here and hit the X next to it, and it's going to remove that particular person or that particular conversation from the list, and so it'll exclude them from receiving that automated message. So you can be kind of custom. Even when you're sending it to a folder list, you could go through and select the few that you don't want to include, and make sure it's only sending to the people that you want it to be sent to. Okay, so that is the template feature and the scheduling feature. And now we're going to go to the unread message feature. Now, this is one that's really important to people because Facebook got rid of this natively inside of Messenger to filter. And so if you want to filter unread messages, you simply go to this tab. All you have to do is hit Sync Unread Conversations. And then it's going to pull up a new tab. And then I'm going to show you kind of what it'll say or what it'll read so you understand what to look for. So this is what will happen. It'll pull up a new Messenger tab. And then it'll say, please keep this tab open for better scanning performance. You could go out of this tab if you wanted to, or go onto a different tab or page or whatever, and it's still going to work. It just doesn't work quite as efficiently as it usually does. But you can see here it's starting to tell me the number of conversations that have been scanned, right? So it's going to go through your conversations, and it's going to show you of the most recent 500 conversations, which one of those are unread. Now, we are adding some features to this so that you can choose to scan every message you've ever had, which can take some time. Or you could say, hey, I want to scan the most recent 100 or the most recent conversations from the last week or whatever. And we're going to be able to add that functionality, the customization to the unread feature. But for now, it's going to scan the previous 500 and show you which ones have been unread so that you can know who you haven't responded to and who you need to follow up with. So for the sake of this example, I'm just going to pause for a moment until this finishes. And then once it does, I'll show you what it looks like inside of the CRM page. Okay, and we're back. So once that scan finishes, that tab will disappear, and then you'll see this page. So it's going to show you all the conversations that have some unread message, right? And so you can see these conversations, and if you want to go right to those conversations, all you have to do is simply click the blue envelope, and it'll take you directly to that conversation in a new Messenger tab. Okay? And then if you wanted to export those, you could export those. If you had a bunch of those, a ton of those, and you wanted to navigate them a different way and you want to export them, you could do that as well. So that's the unread message feature. So we've gone through the dashboard generally, importing Facebook profiles to Messenger Organizer, syncing your friends and tagging them, creating message templates for both the automated message and the canned response messaging, and then how to schedule the automated messaging, and then doing the unread feature. And now let's go to the folders tab, where if you want to use Messenger Organizer in almost a cell sequence format, this is a really great place to get started. So the way this will work is you'll see this Folders tab, and then below that there's a Leads tab. So let me just show you the Leads tab before we explain the Folders tab. So the Leads tab here is going to show all of the conversations that you've tagged or placed into a folder underneath the title of that folder, right? Now what's cool about this is that you can drag and drop conversations from one folder or one tag to another. So if, for example, like let's go to, and you're going to have to scroll over to see all of them. So if I wanted to remove Hassan from my test 1 folder, I just go like this, and I'm going to sit here and drag him across, and sorry, I've got a bunch of them, so it'll take a little time. I'm going to sit here and drag him across until I get to the place that I want him to be. Now, once I get to that place I want him to be, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to stick him in there. Sorry, there it is. So there's Hassan, so I'm going to stop and put him right in there. So what that does inside of Messenger Organizer is it actually changes the primary folder that that user has been tagged with, that conversation has been tagged with. So instead of now being in test 1, he's going to be in the Hassan folder, or the Hassan tag, and all I had to do was just drag and drop. So this is really useful if you want to drag and drop and move leads inside of Messenger through a cell sequence. So you could have it titled, cold lead, warm lead, hot lead, closed, follow-up, etc., right? And so you could drag them through that whole sequence. Now, if you want your folders to show up here in a certain order, that's where you're going to go to this Folders tab, and once you're in the Folders tab, you can literally just move, drag and drop, and put the folders in whatever order you want them to be in. The nice thing about that is if you want it to be cold lead, warm lead, hot lead, closed, you can move that so it's sequentially in that order, so that when you come to the Leads tab, you'll be able to see that and move them from left to right, or however you want to do it, so that it's in the order that you want, so it's most effective for your cells sequence. So those are all the tabs for the Messenger Organizer kind of CRM page. This is where all the magic happens, all the functionality is. And then again, if you wanted to update a password, you could do it here, download the data, upload lead data, you could sync it, log out, etc. You can see it in a mini CRM form here, and that allows you to just see everything that Messenger Organizer can do. So if you have questions, comments, reach out to me in our support chat on the website. You can send me an email at landon@messengerorganizer.com, or you can message me just in Facebook, in Messenger itself, and I'd be happy to respond and happy to walk through any of that for you. But that's the quick, fast overview of Messenger Organizer and some of its functionalities and some of the new things we've been working on. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks again for using Messenger Organizer.